Hello students, we are discussing Kepler's law, lecture number 3. Now Kepler made 3 laws based on the study of the planets by his regular observation. Now he had no explanation as to why these planets obey these laws, but he noticed that the motion of the planet, they follow certain laws. He noticed certain type of behavior which is generated in the form of statements which are known as Kepler laws. Now when I say circular path, the geometrical figure that we associate with it is circle. Okay. Now circle has a fixed point, that is center, and this particular distance we call it as a radius. Now this radius is also constant. Now when I say elliptical path, this is a circular path. When I say circular path, the geometrical figure that we associate is circle. Okay. Now when I say elliptical path, the geometrical figure that we associate is what? Ellipse. Ellipse is like an oval shape. It's not perfect circle. So this is what an ellipse look like. The difference between ellipse and circle is that an ellipse has 2 fixed points, or you can say 2 centers, or we can also call it as what? These two centers as foci. Okay. And since we have 2 centers, there are 2 radius. Let's say this one is radius and this one is the other radius. Let's say this is R2 and this is R1. This larger one is known as major axis and the smaller one is known as minor axis. Okay. Now why we are discussing this elliptical path and ellipse is because Kepler's first law, which is also known as law of orbit. Kepler says that all the planets they revolve around the sun. The other name for sun is helio. All the planets that revolve around the sun in an elliptical orbit or path. So Kepler, this theory, this statement, Kepler believed in a theory which is known as heliocentric theory. Helio means sun and centric means at the center. See, because right now we might feel is that we already know this, that sun is at the center and all the planets revolve around the sun. Okay, but at that point of time, I'm talking about that era wherein there was no technology and the science was not that developed, and people used to follow whatever church, whatever church says or the king says. And at that point of time, the king and the church, they proposed geocentric theory. They proposed what? Geocentric theory. Now geo means what? Earth. So the church and the king, they told that the earth is at the center and all the planet revolves, even the sun, it revolves around the sun in an elliptical orbit. But this Kepler, he made experiments, he made calculation, and based on those calculations he proposed the heliocentric theory. He told the king and the other people that the earth is not situated at the center, but the sun is situated at the center as in foci, either at this center or at this center. Okay. And let's say all the planets, let's say the planet, let's say earth, and the earth, it revolves around the sun in an elliptical orbit. So this was the first law that he proposed. All the planets, example earth, so all the planets revolve around the sun in an elliptical orbit with sun at one of its foci. Sun may be situated over here, or it may be situated over here. Okay, so sun is situated at one of the foci and all the planets are revolving around the sun in an elliptical orbit. So this was the first law which was proposed by Kepler. Talking about the second law. Second law is also known as law of orbit. Now what does law of orbit states? It states that the line joining, it states that the line joining any planet, the line joining the planet and the sun sweeps equal areas in equal interval of time. When I say sweep, that means it traces, covers. So the line joining the planet and the sun. When I say planet, it could be any planet. For example, we will take, let's say this is the sun, okay, and we'll take a planet, let's say this is Earth. Now, according to the first law, Earth revolves around the sun in an elliptical orbit. Okay. Now, ellipse. This is an ellipse. An ellipse has two centers. One is this one and one is this one. Based since it has two centers, it has two radius. Okay. So, if I join the sun and the Earth, this is the radius. Okay. This is the radius. Now what this statement means is, now Earth takes 365 days, or you can say Earth take 12 months to complete one full revolution. Let's say this is the month of Jan. By the month of Feb, okay, that is approximately 1 month, the Earth will be somewhere here. Okay, and if I join the sun and the Earth, this is the radius. Okay, so in 1 month, this radius has covered this much area, which is approximately a triangle. Okay, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and let's say somewhere in the month of November it is here. Okay, now if I join this, the sun and the Earth, this is the radius vector. Okay, now this radius vector and this radius vector, both are different. Okay, and by the month of November and December, let's say somewhere December, it will reach over here. If I join the sun and the Earth, this is the radius vector. So this radius vector, again from November to December, again the time is how much? 1 month. Okay, and in this 1 month, this is the area that it covers or traces. So this second law, it says that this is not law of orbit, this is law of equal areas. Okay, law of orbit was the first one. So second law, it says that that equal areas, okay, equal areas are traced, swept in equal interval of time. Equal areas are traced in equal interval of times. That means this area A1 and this area A2 both are equal. That is what it means to say. Now we have is what? Third law. Third law is also known as law of period. Now when I say period, means it is the time taken by any planet to complete one revolution. For example, let's say you have a sun, we have this planet Earth. from the first law we say that the earth moves around the sun in an elliptical orbit. If I join the distance between the sun and the earth, the distance between the sun and the earth, I'm representing this by drawing this line which is known as radius. Okay, so the third law says that if you want to calculate the time period of any planet, whether it is earth, now earth we know it is 12 months or 365 days, but if you want to calculate any other planet ka time period, this law will help you to calculate that. It says that whatever is the distance of that particular planet from the sun, okay, take the cube of it and then take the square root of it. That will give you the time period of that particular planet to complete one revolution. Now further, if I square both sides, I can say that it is directly proportional to r cube, and this particular statement, mathematical expression, we have converted into statement saying that the square of the time period is directly proportional to the cube of the mean distance of a planet from the sun. Okay, further, if I remove the proportionality sign, I can say that it is equal to constant into r cube, and if I bring r cube on both sides, I can say constant. Now this relation is valid for any planet. Okay, whatever is the time period of that particular planet, if you put it over here and if you take the square, and whatever is the distance of that particular planet, if you take the cube of, you will get some value, and that value is same for all the planets. So this is all about Kepler's planetary laws.